Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks for joining me today. It's the first of the month, so not only are we having our usual Tuesday crafty catch-up, but we're welcoming in another month. Wow, March already. Can you believe it? But you know what it means, don't you? If it's the first of the month, it means we've got another Lavinia challenge. Now you can find all the details, just go to the Lavinia website. Now our new theme this month is Misty Morning, and this is the design I've come up with, and I'm hoping you can see the mist there. You can just see the dew on the beautiful field grass and just that mist rippling. Now I've also, as always, decorated my envelope look. Again, keep our postmen and ladies happy. And I've used black and grey VersaFine Clair inks. And actually the grey one is called Morning Mist. So I think that's very apt for a misty morning challenge, don't you? Now, the winner is picked at random. So, do you know what? I'd enter. And you win £40 to spend at Lavinia Stamps. So, it's definitely worth entering. Now, as I say, this is what I've come up with. Just something to give you a bit of an idea. And again, for me, I went through my stamps and I've chosen a stamp that I haven't used for ages. At the minute, I know I keep saying this, but I do love to just look through my stamps and look for ones that I haven't used for a while. And that one's now I probably won't say this properly, but it's the Nigella Damaska. And I have to say, stunning. I don't know why I don't use it more, but to be fair, I do have quite a few, so... Now what we're going to do first is we're going to make ourselves a lovely background, and I've got a piece of the watercolour card. Now again, you know I love the Lavinia watercolour card. It's very smooth and it just absorbs the water. So that's what we're going to start off with. And I just need to grab myself some kitchen towel. Now, I do urge you to have a go at these sorts of backgrounds. It is literally, you can't go wrong. It is just such fun. And I'm going to be using my Elements ink pads. And I'm just going to pop them out on my mat. So I'm going for Della Blue. And we'll put some of that there. We're going for Violet Chalk. And we'll have that there. Again, straight on my craft mat. Some Sundance. And I'm going to put that up there. And then some Bermuda. Now, I don't want to overdo it with my ink. I can always add more to my mat. You know me, I'm a bit of a thrifty crafter. And what I'm going to do first, I've got my Lavinia watercolour brushes in water, and this is the Hearth one. It's quite a nice chunky one. And I'm just going to wet my card, just to start off with. Now this, I will warn you, for those of you who are very sort of controlled, this is, well, we don't know what the background's going to turn out. I've got an idea, but that's what's lovely about this. And it's great to actually do something that you don't know exactly how it'll turn out. And I want an area for my sort of sunrise here. But I'm literally just going to put some yellow on. And I'm just dabbing it on. And I know I want it about there. And I'm just going to clean my brush. And then what I'm going to do is add, and this is wet on wet, so I'm taking the wet ink onto the wet card. And I roughly want some green down here. Again, I'm not being over precious. And then we'll add a little bit of blue to the sky. And again, I'm not being over precious. And then into that, I want to add a bit of purple, and I want it to run. So you will see the colours will run. And again, like I keep saying, there's no actual skill to this. I'm just adding a bit more water where I want those colours to run. Then I want to make myself some clouds. So like we've done before, while it's wet, I'm just going to come on with my tissue and absorb some of that water and create myself these lovely clouds. Now, I want one up here, but I'll just wet it a bit more first and then see if I can get a nice wispy cloud across there. across the top of where the sun would be. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Maybe just another one over here. Just the edge of one coming in. And this is just a background, so don't overthink it. Just have an absolute brilliant time creating. And again, maybe create 2 or 3 at the same time. And you see how it's building up. I just want that a little bit lighter there. Now, what's lovely about this is I can come back in now. But I must admit, I don't know about you, that's certainly starting. It's probably quite pale for you to see, but that's starting to look. I love the sky. But I think we just need a bit more blue in the sky. So I'm going to come in and just add, and again, it's more of a sort of dabbing motion. It's going to add a bit more blue to some of these areas, especially at the base of these clouds. Just darken them up a bit. Just at this edge here. Yeah. And then just want a little bit more green. So I'm just going to add a little bit more Bermuda to my mat. And obviously the more water you add to this, the lighter it will be. So I'm going to dry my brush a little. So it's more of a concentrated ink I'm putting on now, because I just want the green a little bit deeper here. And then what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of my green, a little bit of purple, because up here I almost want to add a bit of a sort of hills in the distance, and I'm thinking maybe some heather on the hills there, almost just to give me a bit of the difference between the sky and the land. And again, it's just a background, so let's just darken that green at the bottom. But other than that, I'm happy with that. And what I would do is let this background dry. Now, you can force it with your heat tool, but I've got to be honest, for me, you get a much better background. But that's just my own personal, if you let it dry. So I have got one under my mat. And I must admit, I keep mine under my mat because it just flattens them. So in the good old here's one I prepared earlier, look. Now again, if I just stand up and show you, there isn't a great deal of difference. But what's nice is they are different, each one. And I just think it's such a lovely starting point. I mean, if you've got the stag, wouldn't he look lovely? And you could really make this into heather on those hills. So for all of you in Scotland, that would be a beautiful card, wouldn't it? I mean, think of the stamps you've got that you could make this into a scene. So if you say having an off day and you don't know what to do, maybe create yourself some backgrounds. So that I'm just going to put to one side to dry. And this is the one that I made yesterday. And as I say, it's been under my mat, so it's lovely and dry now. And I love the way the wet inks run, look. So what we'll do a little bit of work on this, and we'll start by adding some stamping. So as I say, have fun, look at your stamp, see if you've got, excuse me, you know, a flower stamp, say, you haven't used for a while, or the trees. What about one of your trees, if this was going to be a masculine card? Now, there are 2 sizes in this stamp, so I'm just going to add a couple in black, and then I'm going to bring in my purple ink, because I think it's nice just to bring in. So we'll add a couple here in black, and then I'm just going to come in with the smaller one and bring in, I think it's Monarch, this one, the purple, just because I love the purple in the sky. And just to sort of keep it all nice, if you keep the tones together. So we'll add, and again, I just want to alter the angle on these. So we'll possibly have one that way. Now I've got 3 that side, so I don't want 3 this side, do I? I want to try and make it look quite natural. So sort of alter the angles, alter the heights. You know, I have those phrases. We don't want soldiers in a row, do we? They're not all standing to attention. It's a wild, And you see, to me, that's too symmetrical. That just doesn't work in my head. So we need to alter that. And if you're not sure, again, bring in your acetate. Let's have a look. Yeah, that looks better. I think one there. Just need to almost off balance it by adding that one. And actually, I think just the head of one popping in there. Yeah. So give these a bit of a wipe. Again, because I just like to wipe my stamps, only because I don't want to pick them up and then get ink on my fingers and then ink on my card. But what I'm thinking is, let's add the lovely field grass. And again, we'll use the two colours. So now, obviously, we can have first and second generation there. And again, the beauty of the field grass is it does just grow, doesn't it, amongst all the other flowers. Now, I'm thinking this is on a hillside. I mean, as you know, I love doing meadow cards, but this is definitely up on the hills. And I know I'm going between colours, so I'm just giving my stamp a bit of a clean. I know I'm going to a black, but I still don't like to contaminate my ink pads. Now, just for me at this point, to bring that black in, I think I need just a black, maybe just one with the field grass here. So if I put that there, and can you see, by having the two colours, to me it just helps with the depth and gives a bit more perspective. The purple grass has almost been knocked further into the distance, especially the second generation. So I've almost got three levels there, the black in the foreground, the purple in the midground, and the second generation further away. So I'll just add a couple more. Again, I don't want to overdo it with this, but maybe just one at this side. Maybe just a cheeky little second generation there, and then just one on this side. Just here, popping in there. Yeah, I'm going to leave that. I don't want to do any more to that. So again, just with a wet cloth and then my Inky Binky, clean that stamp. And I want to put something from the top. So what I've gone for, again, I had a little look at my stamps and I've got this lovely small branch, which again, I don't seem to use a lot. So, and I'm thinking, I like this shape here. So maybe let's mirror that shape. Because I know it sounds silly, but I even think about things like that. I don't just sort of throw my stamps on. So I'm thinking, if we start with the purple, oh, and I've just caught the edge there. So I just need to be mindful to wipe that. And I'm going to put one in the middle, just over. I like that, just over where the sun's rising. One angled to this side. And then one shaped this way. And that's all in the... Make sure I put the right lid on. Have you ever done that? Put the wrong lid. So I'm going to put that out of the way. Again, just give my stamp a bit of a wipe. And then come in with the black, but I only want to add two now. So we've got the nice space here. So if we add one there, and then one over this side. That way, I've got a lovely grouping, and that shape, you see, mimics that shape. So to me, that is just really pleasing to the eye. And these are the sorts of things we think about. You know, when I say to you, you don't want a pizza, so you don't want it to look as though you've just got your stamps and thrown them all on. You want it to look that nice shape. Now, I'm just going to, well, blot that. And then I'll just get my heat tool. Again, you know me, belt and braces. I don't want to ruin this now by smudging any of it. So dry from the front and then dry from the back, and it'll just flatten your card off. Lovely. And what we'll do is we'll add a little bit of detail in the sky. So I've got my kitchen roll to lean on. And this is where, you know me, I love the chalk pastel pencils. And we're going to bring those in. And we'll do a little bit. And again, you can just accentuate. We can just make an idea of where the sun is, where the sun's rising. I don't want to make a definite sun. Just make that idea that it's in there. And then we can just add, if we want, to just some of the edges of these clouds, just a little bit more detail. And it'll just add some depth. So maybe I'll come in with a little bit of an orange just there. And again, I'm smudging it. That does two things. For me, I think it looks better if it's smudged, but also it helps fix it, because after all, these are pastel in the form of a pencil. And if you think you've got too much, to me that orange stands out too much. So I'll come in with a lighter one over the top, and again, just smudge that. And you see how it just adds that little bit extra? So you can do the same on your clouds. So here, can you see at the base of this cloud? We can just add, and you'll see when I've finished. And again, this is just in the background. We're almost adding that. If you look at the clouds, it's amazing how many colours there are in them. I must admit, creating more and more landscapes like this, I do try and look at the sky more and just see the colours. Nature provides us with so much. I mean, I'm not an artist, I've said this before, certainly nowhere near, but I do try and look and just, it gives me ideas and try to replicate it. So for me, can you see, especially from a distance, that's just helped with that background. I think just a little bit up there. And often I find I hold my work further away and see how it looks. Sometimes we can work very closely with our work. You know, we're right on top of it. So if you hold it further away, yeah, I like that. I think it just gives that more of a balance. And what I will do is just where we've got this reflection here, look, we'll add a little bit of yellow, just a little bit. Yeah, so that's reflecting. And now I'm going to add some colour to my flowers. And I'm going to come in with a watercolour pencil for this. And I'm just using a single colour, a green. Just because I don't like the way they almost look see-through now. Which is why we often stamp silhouettes, because then you don't need to add colour. But the beauty of this is the watercolour pencils work beautifully on the watercolour card. Again, we've added water ones with our background, but this card takes it so well that we can add some more. Literally, honestly, I literally throw water at this so much. You don't have to use watercolour pencils. If you want to use your normal colouring pencils, you do that. Because we've stamped in a permanent ink, it gives you that choice. As you know, I just like to mix and match all my products. And then I've got my favourite, number 1. Just clean the edge, look, dry that off. And then we'll just, and again, the colour will just pop by just adding, oh, look how rich that is. Just add a tiny bit more water. And again, I'm being mindful to, when I lean on my kitchen roll. I don't want to put my hand on my work. And again, you will take more time than me. But look at that. Doesn't that really make that colour pop? And as I say, that's just your watercolour pencils. And so quick and easy. Now, again, I'm just going to bring in, just to speed that drying up a little bit. So all these processes. And if we look at the finished design, we've got a couple more things to do. So we want to add a frame to really, you see the difference? You could leave it like this, but I think adding a frame, that purple, we want to add our beautiful mist and a little bit of glisten. So we'll start with the frame, and for that we're going to come in with the violet chalk. As I say, we're thinking of the purple. So again, I'm just going to, and I'm going to start on the bottom corner. And it's just circular motions, and we'll just whiz round our design. And again, I always ink up on the corners because I want them deeper, and when you've got the most ink on your blending tool, that's when it will be deeper. I'm being mindful not to put my hand on my work. And again, along the top. And then what we'll do is this last corner, nice blending down the side. And that's given us, just want to add a little bit more along the bottom so it's nice and rich down there. There we go. And you see how that frames the design. Now again, I'm just going to wipe this ink up. You could use that for a background, but I'm happy just wiping that little bit up. And while I've been doing that, it's given this time to dry, because what I do want to do is add just a couple of finishing tricks. And with my chalk pastel pencil, your chalk pastel pencil works really well on top of your inked card. So I'm just adding some of the dark green, and again, give it a bit of a smudge, just to add at the base. And it's just that depth. And then I'm going to come in with my yellow and just add. Now it's not a lot of colour, but it's enough that to me just gives that extra detail. And it's just where the sun, as it's rising, is just going to be reflected on the top of these. Just that extra little bit of detail, look. And again, just smudging. Maybe we'll just catch a little bit there. Just to highlight that sort of, that the sun's just catching those areas. Now, for my frame, I want to add a little bit of water. But what I'm going to do is do this right at the end. Because again, and then give it time to dry. It's all thinking about these processes and how you want them to work. So what we'll do is we'll start adding some of this lovely sparkle, this morning mist. And I'm going to start by adding just some dots with the silver signal. And this is just catching that. You know that dew in the morning? Have you ever seen the grass? I know when I'm walking Eric, especially on cobwebs. Oh, it catches and it glistens. So that's my first bit of my morning mist, is adding this lovely glistening. And I don't want to overdo it, especially on the grasses. And we'll add some up here. And this silver signal is perfect for this. And again, it's all about using the products you've got and building up those layers. So if I can, not sure if you can capture that. Now, we want to add the mist, don't we? So there's various ways of doing this. You can use your white chalk pastel pencil, look, and come across an area like this and add the mist. So if I bring this up, can you see we've got that lovely mist here? And the other thing we can use is our pan pastel, and you've seen me use this one quite a lot. It's the white fine pearl medium with the applicator. And what we will do is, again, we can add a little bit where our sun is there, and then for the mist we can just come across, and you can use a combination. So I like to use my pencil, the white chalk pastel pencil, and then a little bit of the mist, and maybe just a little bit of the mist at the top. And again, I don't want to overdo it, but if I bring that up and just show you, oh yeah, we've got some Misty Morning there, haven't we? And then the final bit with my fan brush, I'm going to tap some of the water off. I just want to be mindful, I just want to catch these edges, and I'm doing this at the end just because it takes time to dry. I know when I started, we used to do this at the beginning, splash the ink. But for me, I found it just took time and I'd have to force dry my card. So I like to do it right at the end. And it's only through doing workshops that I've come up with these. They're just my little takes on techniques that make them a bit different. And again, it's nice to just see something a bit different. And so that's why I personally do this bit at the end. And you see how it's starting to, just gives that nice effect in the, and it's not interfering with my pastel. And wipe that up, because again, I don't want to get my arms in it, and then it would be, or on the back of my card. So if I bring this up to show you a little bit closer, so I'm hoping you can see that lovely, lovely mist look right across there. And we've got that sun just rising, and that lovely misty morning. So I'm hoping you enjoyed that. Let's have a look at my background, see how, so that's how that background's drying. So you can see how we've gone from that to that. So I'm going to put this one under my mat here, and that'll keep it flat ready so I can create another card. Such a lovely thing to do. As I say, if you've never tried one of these before, I do urge you to get yourself some of that watercolour card and have a play. So I'll bring in, I'm not sure we can get them both on. It doesn't work this way, does it? They'll have to be side by side. So there's the original one, and there's the one we've created today. So I'm hoping you have some fun. Have a go at these backgrounds, and I do urge you to have a go entering the challenge. I mean, let's face it, you could be the one actually messaging me, putting a message on here saying, Joe, I won the £40. I'm going to buy myself some more Lavinia stamps. Wouldn't that be lovely? Especially if it was one of our lovely group on here. So go on, have a go. I do urge you to. So I hope the rest of your week goes really well. And I hope March is a good month for you. I think we all need a good month, don't we? So, big group hug to everybody. You all take care. Thanks for your company. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.